So this is what I read in June. So this video is going to be out later than usual because I was out of town for the first few days of July. Just got back on the 4th, and so I didn't have time to film before this. And yeah, and I mentioned that in the last video that I was going to be out of town, so this one will be later because you can't really pre-film the what I read video because I can finish a book literally on the last day of the month, which I did this month. So, first up for this month is Liars and Legions by Savar Miller. I rated this 4 stars. This was the last book in the Monsters and Muses series. This is about Grayson and Violet. Violet is Cal's half-sister, and Grayson is Violet's ex's brother. And Grayson's like several years older than her, probably like 10, and his brother's way older than her. His brother's horrendous. Like horrendous. I don't know. I'm not thinking right. Hold on. So, Grayson's brother's horrible. And so Violet basically, Grayson and her meet at a party. He basically is like, you're gonna come live with me, I'm gonna pay you. And she supposedly is like a maid or a babysitter, but she literally does nothing. They kind of have this little thing. They start to fall in love. Grayson's brother shows up. Obviously, he's not a good guy. And there's like kind of a twist, but also at the same time, like, not fully. Basically, I'm going to spoil some things that happen in this book. There's a girl that something happened to, and Grayson thinks his brother and father did something too. But it turns out she's actually alive. And that was like a twist. And it was pretty good. But yeah, I love this book. And then I read a Sweet Mess by J.C. Lee. I rated this like 2.5 stars. This was the first book that, you guys know, I wrapped up all of my standalone books aside from last month's TBR. So this was the first one that the jar picked for me to read. And I've had this on my shelf for like 3 years now. And it's probably because the cover isn't the cutest, and I didn't really love this book. It's about Aubrey and Landon. Basically, Landon is a food reviewer, and he shows up in her town on accident because he was going to review somewhere else. He stops at her bakery, accidentally get a cake that was supposed to go to a 6-year-old, so it wasn't like as it was supposed to be. There was like candy in it, and that really wasn't meant to be in the actual cake. It was obviously a special request for a child. And then he ends up writing this horrible food review about it. And she emails, and several people email, and he won't take it back. Because he's like, I only review places once thing. Like, it's a whole policy he has for himself. And I'm just like, just tell your audience that you made a mistake. But then to fix it, he has her on this show that his friend's hosting, this food show. And so they're like her and him are staying in a cabin for like a few weeks together while that is starting, like, getting filmed and everything. And so they their feelings get back and things start happening there. And then she wants to tell him something, and he's like, I can't be with you because I already messed up here and I don't want to ruin your thing now. And it's just like, dude, you could have been with her. And then, spoiler, she's pregnant. She puts like the test in this jar. He doesn't look at the jar for weeks. Like months, honestly, because she's like 8 months long probably by the time he shows up and finds out. And it's just, I didn't like him. I didn't really like their relationship. I just didn't enjoy this book. And that is probably why I put it off, because I thought I might like it, but I did put it off for so long that maybe years ago I would have loved this, and now I'm at that point where this type of book is not something I like, and I'm very aware of that. I still think some people would enjoy this book. It wasn't even the writing style. I think it was written in third person, and that wasn't horrible. I didn't love it, but I don't hate it either. I feel like this is one of the first few books that have been in third person I've read, and I've never disliked a book being in third person. It's just different than what I'm used to. And the writing's pretty good. I would say I would recommend this to people that I know would enjoy something like this, but to other people like myself, I would not recommend that. And then I bought The Little Black Penguin Classics, and I read 2 of them because there's 80 of them. And so I was trying to read one every day while I was gone on my trip. Only had time to actually read like one while I was there and one on the way there. So first up was Miss Rosie and the Priest by Giovanni Boccaccio. I rated this 2.5 because there's only like 53 pages in this. Like, there's not a lot, so there's not a lot of information. Like, I might love it, but I didn't really. Like, I liked some of the stories, and then just some I was just like, especially the last one, I was just like, why, what's going on? Because there's like 4 different stories in this one, and I liked some, but the last one was just horrible. The guy made me so mad. So yeah, I think people would like this though. And then the next was As Kingfishers Catch Fire by Gerald Manley Hopkins. I rated this 2.25. This was a bunch of poems and then like a few excerpts from his journal, and I don't really like poems. So yeah, all these were meant to be like short stories, and this was just so many poems, and I'm not a person that enjoys poems. I think some people would love this though. So yeah, that's all that I read in June, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!